My name is Scott Lunsford. I'm Associate Professor in the School of Writing, Rhetoric, and Technical Communication at James Madison University. I am a professional writer and editor by trade and began graduate school in it. I was working, this was in Chicago, as a public relations associate editor for an agency that works with people with disabilities. I was also going to graduate school at night, and he ended up writing about a lot of the stuff that I was writing during my job, and both of them informed each other, and I just sort of moved away from that into academia, pursued graduate degrees, began teaching, and that's where I am now. My research interest is looking at how rhetoric and writing intersect with mobility studies. And in particular, I'm looking at how rhetorical and communicative practices help us move through our spaces. Right now, my research is looking at how we use certain surfaces in order to communicate whatever it is we're trying to communicate. So instead of simply looking at the discursive elements, the actual, what is literally writing on the walls, what is it the surface actually does for that body that is engaging with that communication? Trains, for example. Trains, for some, are used as traveling galleries with graffiti, and not necessarily tagging by a certain membership of perhaps a gang, but perhaps people who ride the rails and tag it saying, you know, so-and-so was here, trying to use it as some sort of marker. Now, anybody who sees that, the train passing by, waiting for a train so that you can cross the tracks, sees that, probably has no idea what it means. So why is it there? What is it, that train, that surface, that offers whoever's tagging that train some kind of license, some kind of communicative need? The scholarship that is emerging from it is becoming more and more digital. And that's where I am leaning. A lot of the work that I do is very visual. So I've got taking images of all of these texts that are out there on sidewalks and trains and walls and signage systems, whatever it might be. Well, how do you portray this in a text print-based journal or an article or a book? So I'm finding ways to digitally tell these stories. Well, JMU has one of only a handful of independent writing programs in the country. Writing programs are usually housed within English departments. So you may have writing programs with journalism and creative writing and public relations alongside the various literatures. The one thing that having a writing program on its own offers is a set group of faculty who share similar resources, ways of talking about the work, ways of doing that work. So that's why I chose JMU. One of the things that they really struggle with is that, well, if I'm going to talk about myself in this paper, I have to say I. Yeah. Well, I can't say I. Well, why not? Because my teacher in high school always said, I'm not old enough to have any experiences, so I can't write about myself. I'm like, that's ridiculous. We all have experiences. You may not have experiences that are valued by certain instructors, certain teachers in the past, but you certainly do here. And you need to use yourself as a primary source of research. So it's a lot of learning process. And I think that's one way that I try to bring it into the classroom, is it's not only, I have to learn all this stuff too, but if I'm to teach it, my students are going to learn it, and we're going to be learning together. Gets me out of my comfort zone, it breaks them out of their own comfort zone. It's trying to teach them to be aware of writing in a writing program is more than writing an essay. It's going out in the field and knowing where to go, walking and driving to the certain thing, taking a picture of it, bringing it back into the classroom, creating a story around it, using it to create a story, to inspire a story, and playing with it and getting it out there for anyone to see.
This video was produced by